Hello, I'm Shelly, a zero-waste fashion designer at Harvard. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you another one of my zero-waste fashion designs. I know a lot of us are stuck at home now, so I thought we can make some beautiful, sustainable clothing together. For each design, I'm going to show you step by step how I made it, from my first sketch to the finished clothing, like what you're seeing right now. I started doing these how-tos because a lot of people see sustainable fashion or zero-waste fashion as kind of plain and kind of boring, and I just want to show that that's not true. If you follow my page or my Instagram or any of my work, you'll see that I really try to create beautiful and exciting designs that are also zero waste. Secondly, I'm doing these videos because now that so many of us are socially distancing and stuck at home, I want to show you how to make some comfy, stylish clothing that are also good for the environment. So let's get started. First, you will need some materials to make the dress. You will definitely need fabric. I'm gonna go through that in more detail in just a bit. Also, you will need a ruler. I like to use two types. One is this measuring tape, which I like to call soft rulers. Wait, do I call these soft rulers? That sounds really basic. Because you can use it and you can even measure curves. So it's just really easy to use. The second one I like to use is this one because it's a little bit harder, so I can use it to actually make marks and draw edges. So these are my two favorite types, but take your pick. Then you also need something to mark the spots on the fabric and other places. I like to use a chalk or charcoal so it's easy to come off. You also need pins to keep things in place on the fabric. I love this one because it actually comes with this big magnet that picks up pins that you drop on the table or on the floor. Before I had this, I once left a pin on the floor by accident and it actually went through someone's foot. So yeah. Next you need threads. So I picked a blue color and a gray color. You'll see later these match the fabric quite well, so that's what I'm using. Lastly, you'll need a sewing machine, of course. I use a Brother DZ2400, but really pick what you like. It doesn't really matter as long as it works for you. Step 2, fabric. Let me go back to that fabric choice I was talking about. So, you know, when chefs see quality ingredients, they get really excited. I get really excited when I see awesome fabric. And that's exactly what happened when I saw this fabric. It's a bit stretchy, which I like because that means it's probably more versatile and easier for people to wear already. But what I love the most are these bold stripes. So when I was a kid, like 7 years old, my parents and I went to Osaka, Japan for vacation, and I remember through my hotel room I could see the ocean, and I just thought, oh my god, it's so clean, and I love how there was like blue and black and white all stacked on each other, and it just felt so simple and clean and really beautiful. And when I saw these stripes, it kind of reminded me of that, and I just had to have it. So I really want to preserve this pattern as much as I can, which is why this is going to be the only fabric that I'm going to use for the dress. Just a few more things on fabric. First of all, because I am a zero-waste fashion designer, everything I design actually have zero fabric waste. So this means that I either create patterns and cuts so that I use all the fabric, or if I have something left over, it's going to be another rectangle, so it's really easy to repurpose for something else, which was the case here. Finally, all of my fabric are upcycled, which means that I take fabric that could have been thrown away to instead repurpose them and give them a new life. Next, design. Now this is my favorite part. I wanted to preserve the personality of this fabric, so I'm going to place the stripes up and down the dress to really show them off. One of my design principle is minimum strokes for maximum impact. So in this case, basically I want to have the most simple and clean design that actually works the hardest for the wearer, which means that there aren't going to be that many cuts and seams, but everything matters. The back will be backless, which is kind of sexy, and I'll include 2 pockets as always, but I'm gonna have a smaller pocket for kind of like tiny coins and things like that, and then a larger pocket sewn in for your iPhones and larger items. I'm also going to sew some overlaps in the front and back, so that there's extra fabric there for people to move their legs in. Finally, I'm going to sew the front together to create this hourglass shape with the stripes. And basically what it does is that it gives people more curves. Now I cut the pieces and I sew them together. I designed the cuts here to be basically stupid simple. So going back to that minimal concept. So all you have to do is cut the fabric in half, and then for the front fabric, you are going to cut out a narrow rectangle that is about 4 by 18 inches. And for the back piece, the other half, you're going to cut out like a 16 by 18, so a little bit broader rectangle. Then I sew the seams. To save yourself time at home, you can get a serger that allows you to sew seams much faster. For this design though, I chose the harder way and I sew them by hand, and I specifically used zigzag stitches going up and down, and then I used wide straight stitches going across, and I make sure they were wide so that it doesn't stretch the fabric too much and create ripples. I did this because the fabric has so many colors and I didn't really want some really complicated seams to take away from that elegance. Now I'm sewing the dress together. I'm going to lay out every piece, which is only 4 pieces, with their back facing me. Those long rectangles that I cut out before, they're going to become side pockets. When sewing these pockets, first you had to sew 4 of the mouths of the pocket pieces to the sides of the dress. This basically creates the pocket openings. Then sew along the outline of the dress, starting from just below the arms all the way to the bottom of the dress. This basically attaches the pocket to the dress. Next, you want to sew the top of the dress together. I also tucked in the shoulder area and hand stitched it so it kind of falls along the shoulders a little bit better. Now you want to turn the dress inside out, and we're going to move on to the back of the dress. So along the bottom of that rectangle that we cut out, I'm going to pinch the 2 sides of that dress and create this double layered fabric and sew that together. And basically this creates more fabric at the bottom, and so that it flows a little bit better and you have room for the legs to move around. For the front, I basically do the same thing, except here I'm going to pinch a little bit more fabric, and all the fabric, so all 4 layers of fabric are going to be layered on top of each other. Basically, I don't want any more space where the rectangle was at the bottom. Then you want to sew the front part together until you hit the neckline. Where you stop with this neckline really depends on what you prefer in terms of the bottom of the V-neck. And also by sewing this piece in the front, sewing that rectangle together, you create that hourglass shape that I was talking about before. So that is the dress. Let's try it on. So much for watching. Now I have a question for you. What do you like to wear indoor nowadays? Leave a comment below please, and maybe you'll inspire my next zero waste design. Thank you. Bye bye.